More or less, we have covered the introduction of every nakshatra. So there is still a lot left in the nakshatras. We have not covered the charanas or the padas of the nakshatras. Probably once we cover the planets and a little bit introduction about the rasis, that is when we will cover about the charanas of the nakshatras. They'll also be very interesting because unless we know the planetary tattvas and also the Rashi tattvas, it is difficult to actually understand what each pada of the nakshatra is contributing. We'll talk about it once the planets and the Rashis are complete. So probably it's about 6 months from now. So till that time, in case of, with respect to nakshatras, probably I would think this would be exclusive class. So Rohini, we have actually done this class a long time back, but unfortunately we did not record. I forgot to press the record button here. So I'm repeating this video once again. So Rohini is, called as the star of ascent, something that keeps ascending or something that keeps growing. Okay. So you put anything into Rohini, it is growing slowly. So you put the right things into Rohini, it keeps growing. You put the wrong things into Rohini, it keeps growing. Okay, what does right thing or the wrong thing I mean to say is, if you're putting a second half, you in the sense as if by karma, by previous life's karma, everybody believes that this Janma is because of the karma that we made last time. So based on the karma that we did, we are going to get a good Rohini or a bad Rohini. A good Rohini would mean your second house, your 11th house, your 10th house. Such things going into Rohini would mean your second house and the 11th house would mean your money is growing. 10th house, your status is growing. The first house as well, your status is growing, etc. So here as well, you have to look at the dispositors first. So your sixth lord dispositor being in Rohini would mean your debts are growing, your diseases are growing. Okay, eighth lord can bring in inheritance can be growing or your misfortune can be growing. So how Rohini is responding, you have to make a judgment based on the planets that are placed in Rohini. It's a tricky nakshatra. It's a very good nakshatra that can give you riches. It can also bring you down due to diseases and deaths. Okay, anything you put into Rohini, the simple thing is it climbs up, it goes upwards. Okay, so let's look at the mantra. The mantra is Prajapate Rohini Apaha Parastat Oshadhayo Avastat. I repeat the mantra once again. Prajapate Rohini Apaha Parastat Oshadhayo Avastat. Okay. The deity is Prajapati. Prajapati is, based on the yuga that is running. Okay. Prajapati is like a position. Okay. The people will change in it. Similar to Indra. Indra is also a cadre or a position. In today's world, if you talk about these things, these are cadres. They are not a single person. The Indra keeps changing, the Prajapati keeps changing. Okay. So what is the Prajapati is? The first Prajapatis, Prajapati would mean a creator. Okay. Somebody who is the father of all of us. Somebody who has been responsible for creation of the universe. Rather, population of the universe with different kinds of species. That is the Prajapati. Okay. So the Prajapati's work is the Brahma's work. Okay. So amongst the Prajapatis, Daksha Prajapati is one who is very famous. We also have other Prajapatis. You can get them either from the Puranas and the Upanishads. So all of them, they are, primordially responsible for the creation of the universe or the population of species in the universe. So for population of species in the universe, it is very simple that alone a father cannot do it. A father would need alongside him his wife, rather the mother of us. So this nakshatra basically is a twin nakshatra or a person or a person who is looking for constant partnership. Okay. A similar kind of a trait you can see in Vishakha. Okay. If you remember the mantra of Vishakha, Indragniyor Vishakhe, Yugani Parastat, Krushamana Avastat. Okay. You can go back to Vishakha's nakshatra from here through the menu, and you would find it here. Okay. What you understand is Indragniyor Vishakhe, Yugani Parastat, Krishamana Avastat. So Yugani is the word, right? Yugani would mean a union. A similar thing as well is here in this, wherein a union is very necessary for the creation. So the person is craving for a constant union. Okay. So either he's looking for a for a friend or a sexual partner or a wife. Okay. So this is one thing which is looking at creation and ascending. So when Brahma was creating the whole world, he wanted the female part of him. So he created a female part of his own side and called her Saraswati. Okay. From there, the whole universe started populating. I mean, even if you look at the signs, our signs would also say that the first that came out were the unicellular organisms, wherein there was only a single cell, and this cell kept on splitting itself to form different species. And from then on, they had two things: one female and one male, and then from there, everything evolved out of it. Okay. And the apaha would mean water. So every creation that happens is because of the water. So that's why today scientists are looking for water, so that if there is an earth on the other side. Okay. So for creation we need water. All right. So the nakshatra deity is Prajapati. The symbols are the chariot as in something like this, a male snake, a temple, and a cart being pulled by two oxen. Okay. So I'll give you a brief of this. You can go back and read the whole page. For you to give you a heads up, I'm going to give that now. Where the chariot, right? Chariot is used by kings. So the person is highly resourceful, okay, or having a lack of resources. Both can mean it. Okay. So person is of kingly type. Uh, you know, I'll give you a good example of this. Wherein, let's suppose the person is of kingly nature, right? So he has his expenses at very high level, because normally people are there, maybe their monthly expenses are X. And if the person is a kingly man, it would be like, 100X or 200X or maybe 200,000X than the common citizen, right? So these people are kingly. So their expenses are high. So if they are kind of facing a bad phase, their expenses are not coming down, their expenses are rather increasing, but they're struggling to make income. Okay, this can also be one trait. The other one is, no matter how much amount the person has in his pocket, he's always trying to live a kingly life. He's always using chariots. He's always using the richness in the life that he was born with, or maybe he must have had a little while ago. Okay. Uh, so a chariot is used by kings. It is used for transport, going from here to there. It's like a car, right? A car can, meet with an accident. A car can take you places pretty faster. So there is speed in this nakshatra. There are accidents in this nakshatra. There is richness in this nakshatra. Based on the car that you're driving, people decide the kind of wealth that you have, right? Because car is a social symbol, social status, all that, right? There may be, once the king goes into the cart or the chariot, and he may when he goes out, he may wage a war. When he wages a war, there can be a loss or a win, but the chariot is always ready for the next warfare. What it would mean is, there are, even though the person falls down in this nakshatra due to something, There is always energy in the person to get back, stand straight, fight with the situations, and regain back whatever is lost. Okay, you know why? Because moon exalts in this particular Rashi, because moon rather exalts in the Kritika we have covered last time. However, if you consider Rohini to be present in Taurus, moon exalts in this whole Rashi. So moon is something which grows and waxes and wanes, right? It keeps growing up and down. So it's a very common theme in this. Okay, a chariot will always be ready for the next warfare. A male serpent usually is supporting its boss, like the Vasuki and the Adisesha. They were supporting their bosses. Okay, so that is what the basic trait of this nakshatra as well will be, is to support their boss for whatever they are doing. Like the Rohini is like the Saraswati who is supporting the Brahma in the creation. Okay, or Rohini is the Brahma who is supporting the Saraswati in actually making babies, right? In both the cases, it's like the equal partnership. Okay. The male cobras usually escape fights and they are not very good at guarding eggs. Usually, the female cobras are guarding the eggs even without eating. So, these are male cobras. This is a male cobra thing. So, the person is not getting into many fights. He's looking at, uh, staying calm, avoiding conflicts. The other two symbols are temple. So temple remedies work in this nakshatra very well. You can, if you have issues in this, people can suggest temples to visit, wherein the remedies work very well. That is one thing. And as you see, the cart which is pulled by two oxen would mean there is equal partnership of people working together or progressing towards the goal. What do the parents have as a goal? Is to make children or make babies, make a family, and then their children will make another family. And there is a constant increase of the species. Okay, or constant increase in the population of that species. That is what it is looking for. What do you call that in simple terms? It's like the prosperity of a family. So prosperity of a family where there is a happy family, a wife and a husband, kids for them, and they are also getting settled in their lives, getting happily married. All that is a theme in this nakshatra. Okay. Okay, nickname is star of ascent. That means something that is climbing upwards. The foundation above is plants. The foundation below is water. So you have water in this. That means this nakshatra is emotional. This nakshatra is um, highly fertile, right? Fertility is very good in this nakshatra. And the final desire is to attract a lover and to unite with him. So lover would mean, it's called a sakha, right? Okay, sakha can be a lover. Sakha can be a companion as well. Companion in the sense, if you look at the Krishna and the Arjuna thing, right? They're very close friends. So somebody who understands the soul and heart and body and everything of the other individual. Okay, that is how the friendship is so deep. Such kind of a person he is looking at or she is looking at with respect to Rohini. Okay, Shakti. The Shakti is Rohana Shakti. Rohana means something that climbs up. Arohana would mean something that is climbing up. Power to create and grow. So what these people are very capable of is have high creativity, but the kind of creativity you see with people, can if there is a man and a woman, if they unite, can they make a buffalo? No, right? They can only make another man or a woman. So the kind of creativity that you have in Rohini is limited to that species, right? So the kind of creativity that you have in Rohini is limited, but it is also unlimited in other sense, wherein the number is unlimited. You can make any number of babies, but you can only make a baby of that particular species. Okay. These are those things which can be useful when you're trying to understand the kind of jobs, etc., and kind of creativity that you may have in the job or the person himself. Okay. Because if you need to complete, let's suppose there's a musician, right? A musician has a limited number of swaras, the limited number of ragas. Only from there, anybody has to move it up and down and make a music. Okay, Rohini is such kind of a thing. Because anything you create, you still have those sapta swaras or the seven swaras that you have. The final desire is keep expanding and growing. Okay. So what I usually get as a sense from something that is expanding and growing is when you have the second house, 11th house, 10th house, very good. I mean, on the dispositors I'm talking about. So as in, I mean to say that the sixth house, when I say sixth house, assuming there's a disease, right, that grows. What is a disease that can grow? It's like the cancer, right? A cancer starts at a place, it keeps growing slow. Okay. And there are a few disorders. Like, recently I made one, somebody consulted me recently. I'm not sharing the whole chart, but I'll tell you a few gists of what the discussion was all about. So the Sagittarius is the Lagna. Sagittarius Lagna. You have in the Rohini, in the sixth house, Rohini, you have Venus, Jupiter, and Mercury. Okay, these are the three planets that are there um, in the Rohini, in the sixth house. You see, the first lord is in Rohini. Dispositor is also in the Rohini. The seventh lord and the 10th lord as well is in the Rohini. The dispositor is in the Rohini. It's in the sixth house. So the sixth lord is in the sixth house. Jupiter is weak in Venusian houses. Everybody knows that. We'll talk about planets as we talk through starting the next week. So what we understand from there is the natives got a disease, you know, wherein there's no medicine for it. Okay, there's no medicine for it, and I would believe there is the muscles are actually is going into a case wherein there's no disease for it. They're constantly being distorted, and it's a kind of autoimmune disease kind of a thing, and it keeps spreading slowly. Okay, there's no way you can escape it, and there's no medicine for it, and you cannot even stop it or limit it. It keeps growing slowly. Okay, so these are the kind of diseases that you can link to Rohini. Extremely rich nakshatra, extremely rich living nakshatra. This person has enormous amount of wealth to enjoy, but the problem is he has this disease. He's not able to actually, enjoy much, and he's constantly worried about whether can he get married or not. Okay, so that's what I say. So this is a constant quest of union. Okay, desire is to attract a lover and unite with them. And number of stars are five. Why do you unite? You unite is because you want to produce children. You want to protect your lineage, okay? Or you want to get your lineage going. That's the normal instinct of all the beings on the earth. Any being on the earth will always want to have babies. That's the natural instinct. So Rohini is, omnipresent, I will say. If you see any of the species, all the species are bound to get babies. That's how the species are. Okay. And you have the Puranic stories of the Brahma and the creation, Daksha Prajapati, Kasyapa Prajapati, the Rohini and the moon. If you see the Brahma or the Kasyapa or the Daksha, right? There are many common traits across all of them. So Brahma first actually what he taught us. So when the Trimurti Vibhajana was done, when the Trimurtis have actually given up, each the Trimurtis have actually distributed the responsibility between each of them, saying, "Look, Brahma, you would do creation. Okay, Rudra, you would do the destruction. Vishnu, you are the sustainer. So let's have these three responsibilities." Once that was done, Brahma was the first person to actually initiate something. Okay, I'm trying to give it to you in simple terms so that you understand the logic as far as astrology is concerned. Okay, there are hundreds of variations across various Puranas and Upanishads. If you try to refer one of them, the other one may contradict if you're looking at from the surface. When you try to understand it from the very deep root grass level, then the grassroots level, then everything would be in line. So just by looking at the surface or very few lines, if you read and try to make comments over it, it is wrong. Please try to read and why this whole creation has to be done this way. Everything is cleanly explained these days. So people who are interested in that, they can download stuff freely available and read all of them. Okay, so Brahma has what Brahma first thought is let me make a few people out of my manas. That means the thought process. So Brahma thought and people came out. So they were Sanaka, Sanandana, and Sanat Kumar. These are even today they are depicted as kids. So when they were as kids, they came out as kids. They came up to Brahma and asked, "Okay, Daddy, what is the thing that we have to do?" So Brahma explained them that I'll also create women out of me, and you have to, get the population growing. And because they came out from the buddhi or the manas of Brahma, they had the Brahma Jnana right from the start. They said, look, ultimately what we have to do, we have to do karma. We have to fall in this cycle of, the karma, birth and rebirth, all this cycle. Why should we be doing all that? We cannot do any of that stuff. We are 5 to 7 year old right now. We'll stop our, aging right here. Do tapas, okay? Do penance and reach salvation. Because the ultimate goal after all these lives and births is do penance and reach salvation. As long as we don't do it, we fall in this trap of birth and rebirth. So we are actually denying the proposal that you have made. Okay. So we are very sorry. And they remained bachelors and observed penance. Okay. So what we understand from here is the first children of Rohini, if the elder children of Rohini, if the elder child falls in Rohini, okay, or elder child happens to be Rohini, it is more likely that they are not going to listen to the father's advice. Okay. And then what ultimately Brahma had to do was because it's not possible for any of the children coming out of the Brahma's buddhi, because anybody who comes out would say, look, I have the Brahma Jnana. I'm not going to get married or I'm not going to have children. I'm not going to fall into the trap. So what ultimately Brahma was forced to by himself is let me create a female counterpart of myself and let me do the procreation myself. Okay, that is how the first procreation started. That is how the first species evolved. Okay, and then it came through the water. That's why there is this apaha. The word apaha is here. Okay, and once Brahma created Saraswati and started the procreation, right? If you understand from the Puranas, Saraswati was constantly running and Brahma was taking different shapes. So did Saraswati. Was Saraswati came as fish, Brahma became a fish. He kept on running behind her and made fishes. Then Saraswati changed her shape to something else. Then that way the whole of the species kept on coming out of the ocean. Okay. And then once this procreation was happening, that is when the real Brahma, I mean, the Brahmas, what was Brahma, standing for? He was to create or procreate and populate the world. That is when Vishnu can offer sustenance. If there was no people in the world itself, what would Vishnu do on the sustenance? Or what would Rudra do on the destruction? Because unless the world is there, there's no point in even sustenance or destruction. So Brahma and Vishnu, I mean, Vishnu and Rudra were just waiting for the Brahma to start population and then they can do their jobs. Okay. So in due course, see, right, you also get to hear a lot of species were extinct, right? A species would come, they'll go extinct, they'll actually change their shape, size, and everything, and keep changing, right? No species is constant. Even human beings were not the same about 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years ago, or 5,000 years ago. They were completely different, and we are going to be further and further more different as we evolve or as we keep eating whatever is available, right? Because even whatever we eat is also created by Brahma. We are only thinking that we are plowing, we are planting seeds, we are getting the crops, we are getting those fruits. Or even if you're eating meat, or even if you're eating anything else that came exclusively from this earth, nothing comes away from the earth. Everything that has come only from this earth, that only we eat, right? So there's this Brahma is the Rohini is not a perfect person. Rohini is trying to actually evolve, right? Rohini is trying to evolve all through his life. So this person like to take up challenges, face failures, get up from those failures, stand up upright, and then keep hitting once again. Maybe falls down once again and goes back in that cycle. Okay, right. And if you look at the Daksha, okay, Daksha Yajna, which we keep talking every time here. If I find time, I'll cover this today. Otherwise, maybe we have to still find another day to get Daksha covered, Daksha Yajna covered. So there was this Daksha Yajna where Daksha insulted Shiva. Okay, Shiva, Daksha, and Vishnu. These are the people in that particular yuga. Okay, where even Parvati was not born by then, and Sati was the daughter of Daksha. So when the start of the creation was happening, you can take it like that. When the start of creation was happening, Daksha was called, I mean, Brahma was called as Daksha, okay, because Dakshata would mean taking responsibility. So Daksha. And then you have Vishnu and Rudra. So of the Rudra, who's called as Shiva, Daksha did not obey Shiva because the daughter of Daksha, called as Sati Devi, fell in love with Shiva and she married him. Daksha is a kingly man and Shiva is an outcast. Okay, or sometimes people would call him a Brahmin. So Daksha is a kingly caste and there is an outcast. So who does not belong to the kingly caste was not respected then. But although he was also equally the ruler. Okay. So let's not get into the intricacies of what the Puranas are saying around it because our interest is on astrology. Let us stick to what we get as a point for our astrology through this. Let's not make a unnecessary this and that around it. Okay, don't make hanky panky around it. The idea is everybody would agree that Daksha married Shiva, and Daksha did not like Shiva. There was a there was a tussle between Shiva and Daksha for power, and they did not like each other. Okay, at one point in time, Daksha started a yajna or a sacrifice, the fire ritual, wherein Shiva was not invited into it. There's a huge story around it. Okay, please go back and read. I don't think I can cover that even today. So when that whole story ended, what happened was Shiva's wife or Daksha's daughter, Sati Devi, fell into the fire. Okay, and I mean jumped into the fire rather, jumped into the fire and gave Atmahuti. That means she committed a suicide because she could not bear the insult that Daksha was giving to Shiva. And Shiva was very, very angry because Shiva lost his wife that you must have heard in Ardra. Okay. When Shiva lost his wife, he was very angry and cut one of the heads of Brahma. And also, he has done a lot of, he has sent Veerabhadra to do a lot of havoc in the Yajna Vatika or the place where the fire ritual or the fire sacrifice was being done. A lot of rishis were, harmed who were actually accepting all the oblations that Daksha was giving just because Daksha is a Prajapati and he is also one of the head of the worlds. Okay. So that was the story. It's a long one. There are movies around it. Please go back and watch movies. You will get a lot of insights because there is an image in front of you, so you'd understand it much better than the lines. Okay. So Brahma, Kashyapa, Daksha. So as I said, Brahma got attracted to Saraswati. So these people are very very, fond of their own creation. Let us suppose a Rohini man develops something, right? He would say, look, my creation is the best. Nobody can create better than this. Okay. This is the kind of, I don't know what is the right word for it. If somebody gets that thing, please let me know. So he would be obsessed, right? He would be obsessed with that creation, and he would say, nothing is better, nothing can be better than this. This is how it is. Okay. So Rohini people can have that kind of a trait. And Sati Devi, as I said, turned against Daksha. So what we understand here is if you get to see the ninth lord connections, I'm not very sure if I mentioned here in the connections of the houses. Okay, I just mentioned only the boss thing, but I have not mentioned about the father and the. This is mostly applicable for women. Also, I can see sometimes in the male charts as well. So let's do it with the female chart, wherein if the ninth lord has, I mean, basically the ninth lord dispositor placed in Rohini, and the Sagittarius or the ninth house from the Lagna, the Sagittarius falls in the ninth house, or the ninth house as reckoned from the Lagna, or aspected by Mars or presence of Mars, okay, can bring in rift between the son-in-law and the father-in-law. Okay, I'll repeat this sentence. Ninth house connections, because ninth house is the father. Okay, especially in female charts, when you have ninth house connections, uh, to the Rohini. The cusp can be in the Rohini, ninth house, or the ninth lord's dispositor being in Rohini. They are going to show up very highly because that's what we have understood from all these. Ninth lord as well in the Rohini, but it's very less on the magnitude, okay, of result, can bring in rift between the son-in-law and the father-in-law. Okay, wherein the Mars, when aspecting the Sagittarius, or Mars being in Sagittarius, or Mars aspecting the ninth house, or Mars being in the ninth house, as reckoned from the Lagna. This is when I get to, a lot of people are getting married to a different caste person, where the people feel that, look, my father will not accept, but I have to get married to him. And they get married, maybe after a few days, they go back and tell them, or a few years, they go back and tell them there's a big rift, big fight. Many years they were not accepted. Maybe after some time they are accepted. Okay. The species the Brahma created follow the path of Brahma in creation. So these people, Rohini as a star, has a lot of subordinates or followers. Whatever Rohini does, right, they are setting an example. So there are more people to follow Rohini. There are huge followers for Rohini, and people like the work of Rohini because Brahma, when he first mated with Saraswati, when the species came out, all the species are bound to do the same thing. They're mating with each other and actually producing more and more babies. Okay. So Kashyapa was also another Prajapati who created all of these species because Kashyapa's wives are all, like the Kadru, the Vinita, the Aditi, the Diti. All these people are, wives of Kashyapa. Okay. And they were also the children of another Prajapati. Right. Rohini and cursed moon. Same thing again. So when Rohini was very obedient wife to Moon, and Jeshtha was very unobedient wife or disobedient wife rather. So disobedient wife was Jeshtha, and Rohini was a very obedient wife of Moon. All the nakshatras went and complained to Daksha that look, Moon is actually not spending much time with us, but he spends a lot with Rohini. I don't know, she's mostly beautiful and the most youngest of all of us. So maybe that's the reason Dad, our husband, is actually not very, not trying to be very loyal to us. The arrangement is each day he has to spend with us, but whenever he gets into Rohini, he's actually taking longer for him to move. He's not coming out of Rohini's house for long. This is what the complaint is. So Daksha cursed the moon and said, look, from now on, you are going to wax and wane every day. Okay. So again, the same thing. The rift between the son-in-law and the father-in-law. Okay. The same thing. There can be fights between son-in-law and father. Okay. I have not in those days I not used to actually write so much here. I would still it's fine here because this itself is enough because anything will come only from here. So Prajapati Rohini, the mantra is here. Prajapati Rohini Apaha Parastat Oshadhayo Avastat. You can see Prajapati means Praja means the people, Pati means the boss of people. So who was the head of people? You can take it that way. The Brahma, the boss, the creator, um, uh, the boss who a lot of followers follow as disciples, or they take the same path as the boss did. Okay. And Rohini is something that always goes up in life. Okay. So it is always good to have planets which are useful. Usually, even Saturn, Mars, Rahu, Ketu, retrograde planets especially are very unwelcome in case of Rohini. But this is a very, very, very ground level prediction or a very base level prediction or a UKG, LKG kind of a prediction. When you graduate, you need to do matured predictions because in the Rohini, if you have Saturn, Saturn will be there for 1.5 years over there. Okay, so just by merely having Saturn in the Rohini and you give a wrong prediction, that is not right. However, retrograde planets, what I have seen is one example is Amitabh Bachchan. I believe he has retrograde Saturn in it in Rohini. So when you have retrograde Saturn or retrograde Mars or Rahu or Ketu, and you have the dasha that influences the Rohini for different reasons. When we look at Vimshottari, I will tell you because usually you have retrograde Saturn in Rohini, you may still have Saturn Mahadasha and everything could be right. Okay, there's nothing going wrong. Maybe some other dasha which is not even linked to Rohini that may be giving you, like you get Moon dasha or Venus dasha, maybe having issues with Rohini for whatever reasons. Okay, because Vimshotri dasha is not a straightforward dasha. So I'm coming back to Amitabh Bachchan's thing. He has retrograde Saturn at one point in time. If you read the history, he established a what is that? Um, Production company. It's called as ABCL. He went into debts. At one point in time, he came to a position where he could not even. He was actually living check to check like us. So, so that's what the retrograde Saturn can do. He can get you back onto the roads, and then you can climb back again. And you can see the kind of determination that this man has. Uh, the Rohini also made him very determined to get back into money again. And then you have Apaha. One is water. Water is so many things. Actually, I just wrote emotional. Water is like so many things. Water is memory. Okay. One is water. Anything that has water is huge memory. Okay. We talked about this a lot, even in the Ganga time, on the Purvashara. How water is related to memory, if you can't understand, go back to Purvashara and understand why water is required for memory. Because brain is comprised of 70% water and only 30% your meat. So brain is comprised of water. So you store a lot of memory in water. And water is memory, water is emotions, water is fertility. Okay, extremely fertile people, Rohini. And Brahma, I actually forgot one more thing, wherein Brahma has a very defined day limit. Okay, Brahma, if you look at the time limit for Brahma is very fixed. So a person is given a Brahma Padavi or Brahma cadre. If he is sitting in that Padavi, he is going to Padavi means Pada in Hindi. Okay, Pada, Brahma Pada. So if he gets into being a Brahma, he would have a defined time span till the time he would be awake and there is a defined time span when Brahma would be sleeping during the destruction. So these people are very concerned about their food and sleep. Okay. So anybody who has a strong Rohini, the way you can understand if he has a strong Rohini or not, they would say, look, I always sleep at 8 p.m. in the night. So they would fall asleep at 8 p.m. dot. They always eat at a particular time. They always need food at that time. If they don't get these two things, right, they are very upset with the way he is treated. If they go to anybody else's house, so unless your Mercury is very strong and you have a very good Rohini, and if your Mercury is weak, then these people get into fights with the other people. Look, I do you think I'm a beggar? I came here. I've been waiting. It's like 7:45. I eat at 7:30. You didn't provide me food. Okay, they'll be very furious on people. Okay, again, depends on the kind of Mercury you have, the kind of Ardra you have, the kind of Jeshta you have, and all that. Because somebody might express that they did not get food on the very time itself, or somebody might feel bad for it and may not actually go back to them once again because it's difficult to get food and sleep at a particular place. This is one more trait of Rohini. They're very keen about those things. If the person is like that, it means that he has a very strong Rohini. Okay. Oshadhayo. Oshadhi means taking medicines. Okay, medicines can be for different reasons. The person himself can be a guy who has a very good knowledge of medicine. Okay, could be Ayurveda, could be a doctor or anyone, or he is taking medicines for something that that needs medicines. I mean, a disease, an accident, or something that would need constant medicine. Okay, or the person is actually constantly solving other people's problems as a medicine. Okay, or healing. All these are medicines. Right. So you have the traits here that is he is a very highly resourceful person. So either he has resources or not. If you have a very good Rohini, right, and if you're a poor person, by any chance, the person has a very good Rohini, and for whatever reasons, the person is a poor man. So what usually happens is, assume of a person, of a lady, okay, who was born into a well-to-do family, got everything at her feet when she was till the marriable age. She got married, and once she got married, maybe a few years later, the husband lost all the money for whatever reason. Okay. I'm not saying for Rohini you're going to lose. I never said that. Rohini always will keep going upwards. 99% of the cases, Rohini always goes upwards. They are going to be highly resourceful. They have contacts. They have a very good PR. They can talk to people very well and all that. But if for any reason they have the poverty thing that hit them, it is too difficult for them actually come back and lead a life, which they were leading. When you try to compare those lives, they want to lead the same kind of a life even in poverty. That's why they actually struggle more because their expenses are not coming down. Okay. So Prajapati is a king. There will be many followers, and these people are leaders by an example. Okay, these people are leaders by an example. They're not going to bring up the people, teach them and send. It is not like the Jupiter thing. It is like a moon thing or a Venus thing wherein they keep doing, and you have to learn or stand by alongside him and understand how he is doing and keep doing. Or the buddhi prachodana is what we call. I mean, the kind of mind that you would have is automatically inbuilt in the species, right? Nobody teaches their kids how to procreate. It is a natural instinct. It comes by birth, right? Hope I'm not making any wrong comments here. Please don't take anything wrong. I'm trying to only explain how the whole instinct comes up. Okay. And as I said, first child may not obey the native. Accidents are common. So you have the sixth lord, you have the eighth lord, you have the third lord. Let's suppose you have all three combined together, then there are possibilities of accidents or deaths or can be anything. You may have to look at a few more things and then decide from the Navamsha, etc. and say if it's the accidents case, or if it's the poverty case, or if it's the other cases, okay, or the disease case. Okay, these people are highly creative, as I said, but there are restrictions for the creation. They have boundaries drawn. They would say these are the things available. Only through this I have to, be creative. They're not going to go out of box like the Ardra. Ardra is completely out of box. They also create because that's where the Rahu exalts. I'm not very sure if I've said this in the Ardra or not. Probably I said in the English video. So Rahu exalts at the place of the Ardra because if you see the sun, the moon, what did they do? Sun exalts in Ashwini. So the Rashis start from Aries, right? And Kritika is the exaltation point for moon. And the nakshatras start from uh, Kritika. Okay. So Rashi starts from the Mesha, Nakshatra starts from the Kritika, and the last nakshatra is actually Bharani. I think I've discussed this already in the Bharani video. Whoever has not watched it, please go back and watch. So if you're reckoning nakshatras, because that's why if you see the Vimshotri reckoning, Kritika is in the Ketu Dasha. Kritika is in the Sun Dasha, right? Kritika is Sun. So Sun is ruling Kritika for Vimshotri. Rahu is a person who does not like both of these people, Sun and Moon. So he said, why I should start from, this or that? I'm a revolutionary man. Let me go and start from Ardra. Okay. So completely out of box. But these are boundary driven. Sun and Moon have boundaries because they are material. They are visible. Rahu is something is an imaginary one. It's only a shadow. It can move anywhere. Okay, because there's no material in it. Okay, highly creative, but they have boundaries. These people, if they are the elder kids, it's difficult to actually give good respect to parents. At the same time, if they are the youngest kids or the younger kids, they are very dutiful towards their elders. Okay, they're very concerned about their parents. They're concerned about their husbands. They are very soft spoken. It's just like that. Moon did not like Rohini because Moon was very Rohini was very dutiful towards not only beautiful but also dutiful. She was doing all the chores at home. She was keeping the room or the home very tidy. When Moon came, she gave water, she gave food, she gave everything that he wanted and sent him back. But the others did not do it that way. Okay. Very happy marriage. Slowly they'll go up in life. Will receive punishments for wrong deeds committed. Okay. Failures are part of life, but they're not going to give up. This is one good trait you can see because they want to experiment and see if I can fit here. They want to experiment. Okay. Because Brahma did a lot of experiments. If you see, so many species went extinct. If you see, a lot of species came in and many species went extinct. Actually, more than the species that we have today, many actually are extinct. We don't even know them. We only know because of the fossil records that we have. And there are so many species that actually went extinct, including the microorganisms that we have, because Earth is very old one. So why they were going extinct? Because they could not fit into the struggle for existence philosophy, right? So failures are part of life. Even then, Brahma did not stop. He went on, kept on researching and went on producing newer species. Generally, retrograde planets in Rohini can spoil Dhan Yogas also. Like I just gave an example of Amitabh Bachchan's chart, but still, look, he is still a rich guy, right? So just not think you have I mean, the problem with people who are looking at nakshatra, whoever are learning nakshatra significations is that most of the people are learning like you have Venus in Rohini. What happens? These predictions are useless. Okay, please don't take any offense on this because even if you take Venus, okay, Venus stays there for at least a week or a 15 days time in Rohini. There's no point in actually learning about 15 days of the signification because every minute in India you have two to three children or even more. So you have none of them have the same life. So a lot of people are learning, like, you have Rohini in Venus in Rohini, what happens? Saturn in Rohini, what happens? These are useless, completely useless, baseless, and logicless. Because pardon me if you're taking any offense in this, but the reality is, try to come to reality. I mean, let us be practical. The practical thing is, if you understand the theme of the nakshatra, every chart completely goes completely different. As I said, the example in which, where the Sagittarius Lagna is there and you have Venus in the Rohini, and the Jupiter and the Mercury as well are in Rohini. Unless the Navamsha as well confirms for a roga or a ill health, there is no point in actually understanding the because if you read Rohini Venus, and if you read Jupiter in Rohini, you read Mercury in Rohini, you will get all excellent results. Okay, only when you have Saturn in Rohini, Rahu in Rohini, that is when people said there are little bad results for them. I mean, that is a common sense. Anywhere Saturn goes, there is a problem. Anywhere Rahu goes, there is a problem. It is understood. But is it the problem for the native, or is it for the opponents, or is it for the person who is actually competing against him in the exams that he is writing? So who is that? That is what you have to look at, not merely learning Venus and Rohini, or pardon me, just in case somebody is very keen on learning those things, but they're not going to help. I'll tell you why they're learning this. Because of this, okay? Because I spoke to a lady in the morning. She said, "Look, it's rather easy to read out the sun is in Uttarabhadra, okay? The moon is somewhere, just elsewhere, and all that." Right. So it is easy for them actually to just look at this thing and say, okay, what is the result for Mars in Pushya? Okay, let me read that and try to correlate. It's not going to work like that. I mean, if you're a serious astrologer, they're not going to work. And conveniently, people are delivering these videos, and they'll just read. They get views. A video of mine will never get such kind of viewership, because this needs brain to actually understand the theme, and patience to actually decode it for each of the chart that you're seeing. Only serious astrologers will be looking at that. Okay, no offense to anyone if either somebody is teaching it or somebody is learning it. There will be a few traits, yes, I would agree, but just merely based on them is completely wrong. Okay, can be self-destructive to start something, as I said. So because these species are going extinct, and at one point in time, even humans will go extinct, right? So everything that comes in has to go out of Rohini, right? Okay, you have now we are reading the houses. So each house you have Rohini. We have all the 12 houses listed here. When the dispositor of a house lord falls in Rohini, what happens? When the cusp of a house falls in Rohini, what happens? And lastly, but not the least, when the lord of a house falls in Rohini. So the first two are very important. If the dispositor of a house lord falls in Rohini, then you have that particular house actually linked more to Rohini. Meaning, if your second lord is somewhere, maybe let us suppose your second lord is in Capricorn. Okay, so Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and if Saturn is in Rohini, okay, then you have to see that the second house is linked to Rohini. That is how you have to read this. I'm very sure I have not put in all the significations that can come from Rohini, because in those days I did not do that, because I thought there would be something to talk about. So if I try to put everything in the website, and I don't think there will be anything left out. That was my thinking in those initial days. I have not updated these pages ever since that. But whatever is available, let's see. So the person can be creative with boundaries and obsessed with his own creation. Okay, I have not written that here. So the person will be very obsessed with the creation that he has made, maybe whatever. So if the eighth lord's dispositor connected to first house and all that, then he made a research. Okay, so which he thinks is the best research in the world. He's very obsessed with that. Okay, may not respect elders if he is the eldest child. Okay, there's a tagline here. So may meet with accidents. How do you look at accidents? I'll teach you that. So till the time, just not think having Lagna Lord in the Rohini is going to give you accidents. Not every time. Sorry, don't go by that. Will slowly go up in life. Yes, I will agree. There is a constant increase of the name of the person because first house is about the name and fame. 10th house and first house will give you name and fame. So one of the things that will go up is the name and fame of the person. There can be regular accidents. If there is an accident theme established, right? The person is not going to have just one accident. There may be a couple of accidents here and there, not necessarily to be very big, where the person is actually laying down for hundreds of days. No, it's not always like that. It can so happen that there is a hand fracture, bedridden for about 5-10 days, and then gets up back to work. Maybe a leg fracture, gets back to work maybe in 1-2 months. Okay, such situations, and there are repetition of these incidents. Popular due to the money earned, but not because of their talent. If you look at Brahma, right, he's never praised. Usually, Brahma is never praised. He does not have a temple, right? Brahma does not have temple. You can see temple nowhere for Brahma. And I mean, by and large, there can be maybe I think 1 or 2 temples exist for Brahma. I know them. Uh, so they are not because of their talent. Okay, we don't respect Brahma because of the talent, because he's a kind of money that they have earned is what they're respected for. I mean, just to give an example, Shubham Alok has given very good examples in his lecture. Please go back and watch that video. That will be helpful if you can understand. Um, One of the examples I can say is, like, if you look at Sachin Tendulkar, what is he known for? He is known for his cricket. Okay. Um, you look at Adani. Okay. Just as an example. Okay. I'm not praising Adani, or neither I'm praising Tendulkar here. Let's be honest and fair with everyone. So you look at Adani. What is he known for? He's not known for the projects he's doing or the kind of commodities he's selling, but he's known for his wealth. Right. That's what I'm trying to say. You take Tatas. What are they known for? They're known for making cars. They're known for heavier machinery that they are doing. Okay, Tatas are known for the product that they are offering. Adani is known for the wealth that he has. Okay, just for the sake of comparison, I'm not trying to say that Adani is bad or Tata is good. Okay, everybody is bad in their own way, and everybody is good in their own. Let's not be judgmentally. Okay, uh, right. So second is. The second house may not respect elders or will have a brash talk, because second house is about the talking or the communication. So the person can have brash talk and will have a good and large family, will care for everyone in the family. Depending on if the person is the eldest or the youngest, you can make changes here. Okay. And also look at the kind of planets involved. Okay. And third house, highly creative brain may have a higher sexual drive, because third house rules the sexual drive as well. However, please do not make such comments when you're doing consultations. You have a higher sexual drive. Please don't ask embarrassing questions. They're not the right way of asking questions. Okay. Please don't do that. If you have these particular combinations, it is just to reaffirm and confirm the thing that, okay, yes, I agree with this. It's only for self introspection and stuff like that. Nor having a self good sexual drive is a bad one. Okay, don't think like that. It's a natural thing. People need to have that to populate, right? Okay, you have the fourth house. Your properties will increase gradually in life, which is a very good thing. Your fourth house will also give you comforts. So fourth house can get you comforts. Fourth house can get you vehicles. Fourth house can get you properties. All these things are going to increase in the life gradually. Okay. The first child of the native may not obey the native. Okay. The Sati Devi did not obey Daksha. Sanaka, Sanandana, and Sanat Kumara did not obey Brahma. And you have the sixth house. Okay, sixth house, so many significations are there for sixth house. Roga, Rina, and Shatru, right? Roga means the disease, Runa means the debt, Shatru means the enemies. So you have the enemies could be growing, you have the debts could be growing, you have a kind of a disease which keeps on increasing. Like, as I said, the cancer, or the autoimmune disease which I just described. Not necessarily every time you have a disease. So if you have a disease thing, then you have to have confirmations from the Navamsha. Just not merely look at the sixth house is dispositor and say, okay, you are a Sagittarius Lagna, you have Venus in the sixth house, you are going to get a disease. No, not necessarily, not every time. Not every time it is going to come like that or work like that. Okay. Once you have planets in the Navamsha understanding, then only try to get into such predictions. Otherwise, they're not going to work. Okay, so you may have your boss to be unhappy. In simple predictions, you have the sixth house, your boss being unhappy. But it's sixth house is an upachaya. Okay, it's an artha trikona. So if your daily hobbies are there, let's like, you are an astrologer and you have a hobby of looking at horoscopes every day. Maybe you will start with half hour at the start. Then as you grow, maybe your passion or the pastime becomes a profession for you. Even that is possible. Okay. Usually a very happy marriage with the seventh house connections. But usually, right, you see Brahma and Saraswati. One is Brahma is the master, Saraswati is a slave kind of a woman. So whatever Brahma says, Saraswati obeys it. Okay, so the couple are very happy. One becomes the master and the other becomes the slave. Uh, I mean, just in case, or the follower, you can say why we should call a slave. I mean, please don't take literal meanings out of whatever is pronounced. So try to keep them as balanced as possible in your thoughts. Here, I always exaggerate a little bit and try to explain them so that it fits into your brain easily. Okay. Brahma got married a little late in life. Usually, it is good to get married a little late with the seventh lord. You know, having seventh lord connections to Rohini or seventh house connections to Rohini, and the eighth house inheritance may be reaching. So there are people dying, and you get money. Okay, uh, extreme excellent knowledge on the occult or the shastras or hidden knowledge that people right now do not have, and you're trying to explore it, and you're getting a lot of it. There's a constant growth in the hidden knowledge. Even that can happen. Or this can also cause misfortunes or upheavals. Lot of upheavals in life. And then the first upheaval is smaller. The next one is a little bigger. The next is even bigger, and so on. Okay. Even that can happen. Or your in-laws, like second house from the seventh house is your in-laws, or the family of the wife or the family of the spouse is seen from the second from the seventh house. So they could be growing in wealth if good planets are in the Rohini. So ninth house connections, as I just said, the father-in-law, son-in-law fights, especially when the ninth is aspected or ninth has the Mars or the Sagittarius has the Mars, or sometimes even the Leo also. Even there is a Mars in the Leo as well. You may see that there are fights between uh, the son-in-law and the father-in-law. Okay, the boss may punish the native temporarily, but will again elevate him even higher. Like the Shiva has actually punished Daksha, but he ultimately elevated him further. The fortune of the native is constantly increasing. It can be related to father. Father also is constantly increasing his wealth, etc. Is growing constantly. Maybe his name is increasing. Okay. And 10th has an excellent job prospects. The native is going to progress well in job. Very good name and fame can also be there with the 10th house. So his name and fame are increasing. Or there can be bad name as well from the 10th house if they are badly placed planets and wrong houses linked. Then you may have bad name as well, like the Kritika. Okay. So these two are actually linked with respect to name and bad name. Okay. Kritika can get your name, and Rohini actually improves the name. Okay, even that can be possible. Popular due to the money earned because Rohini is all about money, resources. A huge number of resources are in at the disposal of these people, because Prajapati is the person who has the command over all the resources. Okay. 11th house is natives, elders are progressing gradually, or the salary or the income of the person is actually increasing gradually. 12th house, as everybody would know, the person's mantra, the person's, mantra siddhi, a lot of things of the spirituality can also increase from the 12th house. Be careful, just not lock your minds with the wrong karkatwas or wrong significations for the 12th house. 12th house also rules very good significations. Don't think 12th house is losses and you will get only losses from here. That is a very wrong way of looking at it, because 12th house is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is the highest amount of benefit, right? On the magnificence, if you see, Jupiter, no planet other than Jupiter can be as benefic as Jupiter. So never have a locked up mind. Okay, eighth house you get only bad things. Sixth house you get only bad things. That is a very, very wrong way of looking at horoscopes. If you are doing it like that, it means that you are not even at the KG level. You're just trying to mimic from whatever little books that you read. No offense here to anyone, okay? Just in case you're doing that, try to get rid of those things, fall in place, and get going. Okay. So 12th house, when favorably placed, can increase income from foreign sources. You can, you can go to abroad and do a lot of stuff there. When unfavorable, can increase hospital visits and expenses. Okay. More or less, I think I'm done. Any comments, feedback from anyone, I'll be happy to, understand what people have thought about this. Any feedback from anyone? Fola, you wanted to go?
It's a kind of a bit slightly different but related, but I just don't know, I can ask about it. It's about the transit situation here, but I don't know whether it's applicable in this context.
Okay, I don't use transits much, so I'm only look at the horoscopes of individuals. So it's pertaining whatever significations I wrote here. These are all related to people and their horoscopes, individual horoscopes. I don't look much into transits, or I don't look at transits at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So your sixth house connections, your 12th house connections, or eighth house connections, all these are just based on the individual horoscope. Nothing more than that. We will get to do examples in the next week, so there will be a lot of understanding of how we are using the nakshatras, and then
Okay.
maybe you will understand a lot, because right now we only talked about the significations. So I would recommend, please download this software. Are you using Jagannath Kora, the same software that we are using?
No, I'm using another one, another software, not Generator.
Okay, if you're using the Western astrology softwares, then you may have your 10th house as the house, focused one. But in our case, we use the first house. So just be clear on the houses. So it is good to have. You're using a circular thing. The chart in your case is circled, right?
What do you say?
So the Western horoscopes is what you're using. Your
No,
chart
no, no,
looks
no.
like.
I'm using the Vedic. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
you're
the
using this one.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
South Indian. Yeah,
okay, Indian. That's fine. Then you'll understand that.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So, but how do we now make predictions for the future, like something to happen for maybe foreign travel prediction or something?
Yeah,
If you
that's
don't
what
use
we will.
transit.
We will start from the next week. How we are doing predictions, you can start to understand from there. We haven't done any one, not even a class over how to predict. Although I kept on talking about a few horoscopes, a few people discussed here and there, but not much on the complete prediction side or how predictions are done. Be a little
Oh,
patient. From the next week, we will start to do examples.
oh, okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
I wanted to ask a question. Why will Rohini bring us down through diseases and death only? Why not other medium?
okay. So if you look at this, diseases are because of the Oshadha. Oshadha means medicine. Okay. Why do you eat medicine? If you're very fit and fine, would you consume a medicine? No, right? You would take medicine only if you are having an ill health. Okay. What was the other one that you have asked?
Death.
Okay. Apaha. Apaha means water. Water is liquid. Liquid means money. Liquid money, right? The person actually may have properties, but he does not have cash in hand. Nothing actually as cash in hand. He may have a few properties here and there, struggling for money he's not able to sell. Okay. Like the Amitabh Bachchan thing when he had, maybe he had a few properties. He can sell one or two of them. Maybe he has sold a few. Maybe he still had a few, that kind of a thing. Apaha means liquid, and liquid means money.
And one
That
more
does,
question I have.
okay.
Uh, Whether the native will have conflicts with his father, own father, or
Yes, yes,
father-in-law.
both. Because as I said, right, in the stories, uh, when you call it as a Prajapati, right, a Prajapati is someone who has children. They again get married to another Prajapati's children. So a Prajapati is the husband, the Prajapati is the father, the Prajapati is the father-in-law. All three are Prajapatis. Like the Kashyapa, the father of everyone, was born out of Prajapati. He was married to all the women like the Aditi, Diti, and everyone. They are also the daughters of Prajapati. And Kashyapa himself is a Prajapati. So if you look at it from Diti or Aditi's perspective, Diti and Aditi are born to a Prajapati, married to a Prajapati who was again born out of a Prajapati. So a Prajapati can be a father, a Prajapati can be a husband, a Prajapati can be a father-in-law. All three. So one of the fathers is not approving the marriage. Even that can be a prediction.
And so you mentioned that this nakshatra indicates a happy married life in
Usually, yes.
general. But I have seen that uh, it poses some or the other problem. The end result will be good,
Yes,
but not in an easy manner.
correct. Correct. Because if you look at Sati Devi, that's why I said look at the Daksha Yajna, right? So if you look at Daksha Yajna, Sati was insulted and Sati ultimately fell in the fire. There's a lot of rift between the son-in-law and the father-in-law. There are a lot of issues in the family. And at the end, there was a happy ending. Yes, that is quite possible. However, this is a resourceful thing. So usually when you have other problems, resources are available. If you don't have resources, that itself is the problem. Let me explain it to you once again. So you have poverty, then poverty is the problem. If you don't have poverty, then you have family issues. Okay, here and there, namby pamby, typical Indian, serial kind of family.
Yes, it's true.
Okay, typical Indian serial kind of a family where the brother, sister, I mean the husband, sister, uh, you know, the ladies, the spouse's sister, or someone from the family is actually creating some or the other ruckus.
Yes, a family story is always going.
Yeah, family story is always running like the typical Hindi serial or a Telugu serial that runs all through like 5 years, 6 years, right? It's just the
Right.
same thing, just the same thing. But still, then they have very good resources at disposal. So they're not having any poverty issues. They have family issues. If they don't have family issues, they have poverty issues. When there is poverty, the people are very united in the family. This is what you can see.
I would like to give some feedbacks also.
Please go ahead.
You mentioned about the sleep and food habits that they are very particular about it.
Correct.
And my father has this on the ascendant, and he cannot sleep whenever he visits someone else.
Okay.
I mean, even if in our own home, if he changes the place, he is not able to sleep. And about the food, he has also got an exalted Mercury in fifth house in the Lagna chart. So he
Okay.
is very picky about his food. He'll always find some complaint regarding the food. Only once in a month he will appreciate the food if it's very good.
Okay.
Else he's not satisfied with the quality of the food, the taste of the food. And first person to taste the food in a family will be him. We'll ask him whether it's fine or we should add some salt, spices, or other seasoning. Then
Okay.
only the food gets finalized for eating. And he had a very prominent fight with his father-in-law. I mean, very, very prominent.
Okay.
My father-in-law was at least 10 times richer than my dad, or even more,
Okay.
uh, in the 90s. So the
Okay.
typical story which they show in Bollywood movies at that time, a lot of Govinda and
Yeah. Yeah.
some actor used to be there,
Yeah. Yeah.
movie in which there was
Karishma.
a lot of
Karishma
difference
Govinda.
between the wealth.
Yeah. Yeah. Karishma Govinda movies. Typical. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Exactly that story.
Hmm.
And my father surpassed him.
Okay.
Right
Rohini.
now, he is richer than their family, and their family is in ruins at the moment.
Okay. Okay.
And one more thing you mentioned, that one has to be the slave and the other has to be
Yeah.
the servant.
Correct.
Yes, that is correct. Till the
Hmm.
time my mother didn't accept that she has to be the servant in this relationship, there were a lot of troubles. Like mother even went on to set herself on fire, and father went on to the extreme of taking some illicit
Right.
uh, poison, and he was hospitalized also. So it is a full drama, their marriage.
Okay. Okay.
But they are happily married in their
Okay.
own manner. We can't understand that.
Hmm. Hmm. That is typical
And yes,
Rohini.
one more.
Yeah. Good.
Small accidents he'll keep having.
Okay. So it's a very typical Rohini then. More Rohini prominent and highly egoistic. Okay. I forgot to tell you that. So extremely egoistic people, they cannot take a simple blame on them. They will not agree to any of the mistakes. They'll say, "Look, this is required. Otherwise, it was impossible for the whole creation to happen." Do you get to see this?
Yes,
Okay,
very
good.
prominently. You cannot just pinpoint any mistake of his. He
Right.
will only say that he is wrong in privacy, only to my
Right.
mother.
Right.
Only that too, if my mother is not complaining. If she is complaining, he will not admit there also.
Correct. So any complaint, then the admission is not there. That is a typical Rohini. Okay. Thank you for confirming.
Yes. And one more chart that I had mentioned in Purvashada, I think. She is always worried about getting married. She is not getting married, and she is not getting to the dentist also. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, that girl is also Lagna
Um,
Rohini, doesn't listen
okay.
and
Mhm.
drift with the father regarding the marriage.
Okay. 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 Mm. Good. Anybody else has any feedback?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So, I'm not aware about uh, the Lagna, but I know someone who has five planets dispositing retrograde Venus in Rohini. So,
No,
first
no,
of all,
can you say it once again? Where are those five planets? Sorry.
Sun and Moon are in one. Sun is in Ardra, Moon is in Mriga Shira,
Okay.
and uh,
So they are all in Gemini. That's what you're trying to say.
no, no, no. Uh, sun is in Ardra, Moon is in Mrigashira. Mercury and Mars are in Mrigashira too, and in Taurus, and Venus is in Rohini. And Jupiter is in Sagittarius, retrograde again, and Saturn Ketu in 12th house, in Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra. So first of
Okay.
all, he is doctor, that medicine thing, pediatric doctor, and that egoistic thing is very much prominent. Yeah.
Okay. But
Yes, sir.
you do not know the lagna, right? So okay. So you're
Yeah.
saying, okay, Sun and Moon and Mercury are being disposited. What else was disposited by
Mars,
Venus? Okay,
Mars.
okay, Mars. Okay, four planets, and also the Venus himself is in.
Yes, sir. And
Okay,
Venus is
Rohini.
Atma Karka too, and it's retrograde.
Oh, you have a retrograde Venus. Okay.
Yes,
Mhm.
sir.
Okay. How old is he?
28.
Okay. Okay. Anything else that you would see from any of the other traits that we have discussed so far? You said
Uh,
one is ego. You said the other one is what?
s- Sir, you mentioned that he's the eldest son, but he is more like that whatever my parents will say, I'll do. He's not disobedient, he is very obedient towards them. And he's very.
Probably probably has a very strong moola. Okay.
Oh, okay. Like
Okay.
Jupiter in
Anybody?
Mula, maybe.
Yeah, probably Jupiter in moola. Maybe the moola itself is the lagna. He's a doctor, right?
Yes, sir.
So probably Jupiter. Moola is the lagna.
Yeah, and he's very holy kind of person, worships every
Uh,
day.
then moola. Okay. Most likely moola is what I think, just from the outline that you gave.
And he's not creative at all, like he doesn't appreciate art or anything. So
Moola,
I
right?
don't.
Moola is not creative.
Mhm.
Okay. Moola is not creative.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead, Ustad.
So one more thing.
Hmm.
You said there will be a rift with the first child. He will not obey. So in my
Hmm.
case, that is also true. I am the
Okay.
first child and I have differences.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. My mom is a strong Rohini. I'm the first child, but I have no difference. Anyway, she's not having the lagna in the Rohini, so that's a different case. So unless your lagna is very clear, it's too difficult actually to relate it to Rohini. So the other lady who just spoke, she also said that she does not have. The other person does not have differences with the father. That's because lagna is unknown. I would strongly believe it's Moola because Moola has very great obedience to parents.
But sir, one out of the Rohini question,
Okay.
why do people believe Mula is bad?
That's a wrong
Like,
concept. I've explained it through the video.
yes, I have heard it, but Mula natives' life I have seen, it is very confusing. You said it is not creative, but in my case, I only know the moon position. Moon is
No,
in
no,
Mool Nakshatra,
no,
and the
no, don't
guy
go.
is a very
Don't go
prominent
by.
singer.
No, no, don't go by moon position. Singers are creative. No, right?
Yes.
Singers are artistic.
Okay.
Okay. Singers are artistic. Singers are not creative.
Okay. Okay.
I'll ask to unmute. I don't want to name people. I'm asking. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
So yeah. So I can share feedback. So I have um, wh- well, I have only one planet in Rohini, but it controls many other houses or planets. I have Jupiter in Rohini. I'm a Cancer ascendant. My moon depositor is Rohini, and moon is also ascendant lord, that is in Rohini. Sixth lord Rohini, and seventh and eighth lord goes to Rohini. So I think many connections to Rohini. I can briefly tell what is matching from the lecture. So
1
diseases,
second. You also said seventh and eighth lord Saturn. Where is Saturn placed?
Sagittarius.
Okay. Okay. Is it retrograde?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Sagittarius and Pisces. I'm a Pisces moon. So diseases. The the nature of the disease, like recently only I got probably diagnosed with it, but the doctor seems to think it's uveitis, which is inflammation of the eye, which is kind of an autoimmune condition as far as I could tell. Although I've not received a confirmation, I've gotten a referral from a specialist, so I would probably get to know later. And as I said, this is an autoimmune thing. Other thing is, yeah, connection to seventh and eighth. Probably with eighth, I could say I'm looking at the hidden knowledge, or knowledge of the hidden realm is
Right.
increasing, I could say. And ninth lord, actually, for me, I'm the oldest child for my parents. I've always been quite obedient only to the parents with everything except for the case of marriage. And actually, that was a big problem. And I cannot go into details much, but maybe I can email you.
No,
But
no, mate, I can understand. That's why I've asked you whether the Saturn is retrograde or not. Okay.
yeah, so basically, father did not approve of my choice of the future spouse. That is what happened. But it is the case of inobedience is probably due to ninth lord connection, because that is father, I think, and only in the case of marriage.
Right. Where is the Mars?
12th
Okay, so that looks at
in Ardra.
Sagittarius, right?
Yes, yeah, it is
So
opposition to seventh lord.
it also has to pass. Okay, don't just think ninth lord being in Rohini will give you an opposition. Either the Mars has to aspect Sagittarius, or Mars has to do something with the Sagittarius. Maybe be there in Sagittarius or aspect Sagittarius. Mars also has fourth drishti. Mars also aspects the fourth house from wherever it is placed, also the eighth house. Or it can as well aspect the ninth house from the Lagna. Okay, any of these.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's matching then. Yeah,
So only then you have a rift with the spouse. It takes a little long for the spouse to be accepted.
right. That's it.
Okay.
Oh, I could say I'm not sure you're making a distinction between artistic ability and creativity. Right. So in my day-to-day work, that is sixth house.
Do you have Uttara?
No, I don't have Uttara Falguni or Bhadrapada.
No, you have a Revati moon or Uttara Bhadra moon?
Revati.
Okay. Okay. That's why you are very specific about the definition of what the creative moon or the. Okay, go ahead. You have a question. Sorry for the interruption.
No, not a question, but day-to-day work, I cannot say it's related to creativity, although I wish it was. And I do have the tendency of I wouldn't say obsessed with the creation, but like I feel proud about it. Like I feel okay, I've made something so good, something like that.
Okay. Regarding the autoimmune thing, right? You can go to a temple. Okay. You can just send me out your details. Okay.
Okay.
Can suggest you a temple. Maybe visit that temple that can serve as a remedy for you. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, can I email you or message you?
Yeah,
Which
please
one?
do. Either of better is the WhatsApp me. Okay, that's a lot
Okay.
easier. You can send it to me in
Okay.
private WhatsApp, your details, birth details, time, place, and a few events, so that I can suggest you a temple. I mean, I believe you are in the US, right?
I'm in Canada.
Okay. Okay, wherever you are. So whenever you come back to India, only then you can visit it. So when you're coming back, you can visit to that particular thing. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yes,
Yeah,
go ahead. Sorry,
sure.
sorry, I
Thank you.
interrupted you. You trying to say something on the creativity thing? Actually, I interrupted you. I still didn't get it.
Yeah, because I was trying to connect the sixth lord, which is the day-to-day activities or the work or the employment. Sixth lord, Jupiter in Rohini. So I was saying if I'm doing any creative work, as I said, I'm not doing a creative work, but whenever I get any projects, I try to um, do, like I'm in business intelligence, so I'll try to do the data visualization. I'll take up only those things. If they give me anything else, I don't like it. I won't take it. Whatever is something to do with a little bit of creativity, I'll take it up.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, that one. And I always had this feeling that if I had to go to the next level, that I would have to get into a partnership. Either somebody has to help me, or I have to gel with the partner.
Hmm.
Then only I can do it. But I cannot do it myself. That I always had that feeling, and that's true also.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. Good to hear that.
I think, yeah, that's about it. And probably I could say, with time, the increase of actually, if the income increases, debt also increases, and if there's no problem, there's some new problem coming up, like a health issue or some other unexplainable issues.
Look, that is the problem with the retrograde Saturn being disposited into Rohini. Okay, it can be cured. You can, whenever you're back in India, just be hopeful of the fact that you are blessed with everything. So this is a milder thing. One has to address it. That's it. Okay, just send me out the details in private. That's why I'm making a point. Okay,
Okay.
suggest you something. Whatever is in our
Oh,
hands. Because the problem with this Rohini is it's too difficult to actually to judge. The problem is it's again exactly opposite to the Scorpio, right? So diagnosis, nothing is going very right in case of the Rohini or in case of Anuradha. Both of these are opposite to each other. So
oh,
diagnosis takes a
okay.
longer time. People are confused whether it is autoimmune or it is general inflammation. You just keep going back and forth into the hospitals and nothing actually comes up.
Yeah,
And by
nothing comes up. I go to
mm,
several specialists so far.
they'll keep
This
repeating the
problem
tests.
recently only occurred.
They
So,
keep repeating the tests and they'll say, let us do the diagnosis once again, and nothing comes up. That is the problem.
yeah, they keep repeating, not repeating tests, but they won't take the thing seriously. That like they'll just think as if I'm some kind of person who's a hypochondriac who's just simply complaining like that. That's
Those,
what I
those
feel.
things, those things are very common in the Canada or the US. You come back to India and get this diagnosed, it is more easier actually to get a treatment here.
Yeah, that is one of the reasons why I'll be visiting early 2025. Yeah.
Okay. Make sure you send me those details. Let me see and tell you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I will message you. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Somebody also, I don't want to read out the name. You can come up and okay. Somebody else has raised up a hand. We still have a lot of time. Yeah, Nitish, right? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yeah, sure, sir. Thank you. So I have a friend who has multiple dispositors in Rohini. So she's a Libra Lagna.
Okay.
Her she has Venus and Sun in her second house in Scorpio,
Okay.
and Moon in Aries, and Mars is the dispositor for all three of them, right? So Mars is retrograde and is in Rohini,
Okay.
and Mars also happens to be her second and seventh house lord.
Right.
But additionally, her eighth cusp is also in Rohini.
Okay.
So yes, sir. Most of what you said corroborates traits-wise. So she's creative, but she only does it in terms of cooking. Like she's a very good cook. She limits herself to doing creative stuff with any regular food she makes, even if it's idli or dosa, if it's like very common staple food. She does something creative with the food. She always tries to experiment on that front. So I can see that. She's not yet married. She's 33. She's in a constant desire for getting married, something you mentioned upfront, right? So that also fits. She loves to live very comfortably. She's not very rich by any means, but she tries to pamper herself a lot. Tries to go that extra mile in living comfortably
Right.
on a day-to-day basis. She also is growing slowly in life, like from a career front, because Sun and Moon her 10th and 11th connections here. So uh, she's growing up slowly.
May I may I
She,
ask you a question? The father
yes,
is
sir.
alive?
Yes, sir.
The father is alive?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
So she's growing up slowly on that front. She's also I don't know if this is because of the Mars connection, but she's right now managing a team where uh, I mean her subordinates are predominantly blue collar workers.
Okay.
So I don't know if it has something to do with Mars here. I mean the
No,
Mars connection here.
no. If that is the case, we have to look at the D10 as well. So let's not.
Okay,
Okay. Go ahead. The
got
next
it, sir. Um, and she gets small accidents regularly, and most of them are always in the kitchen. Um, Again, she loves to cook, and she's like very obsessed with eating, sir, about the way she consumes the food, and she's very particular about cooking it. She doesn't, I mean, she eats food from others, but she is also pretty particular about how it's consumed. She has her idiosyncrasies, you could say.
one.
She- Uh, and this was also very interesting, this fact. So she mentioned about one instance where she was praised for, so she's based in the US. So one of her relatives, they complimented her for the amount of money she makes, about her social status right now, rather than how she got there, rather than her skills, the degree,
Right.
education achievements. So
Right.
that was very particular about it. She mentioned it pretty recently, like within the last couple of weeks, and she was surprised at that compliment, in fact.
Hmm. Okay.
And finally, sir, you also mentioned some medicine related connections.
Yeah.
She used to work in a pharma company. She did her M Pharm
Okay.
in her past life, like prior to coming to US.
Okay. Okay.
I think many things connect here with yes,
Okay. Okay. All right. JK.
Hi, sir. I know I have a family member who has a lot of planets in Rohini. So the ascendant is Pisces, and she has Sun, and then Mercury, and then Venus in Rohini,
Okay.
and yeah, and also in Taurus we have Saturn in Mrugashira.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I think most of the traits mate. First thing is the marriage. She married to her cousin who is like 15 years older than her. So
Okay.
initially father is not okay, but because out of affection, he get the marriage done. But there is a kind of that some kind of incompatibility between the father-in-law and the son-in-law. I mean, her husband and father, but always father, because of the affection, father is more compromised,
Right.
kind of stuff. Yeah. So, and also it's because cousins, and also it didn't make it a big rift or kind of stuff, but there is some kind of, that discomfort used to be there. And
That is
then,
because Mars is neither aspecting the Sagittarius nor aspecting the ninth house. Am I right?
Mars is in Satabisham in Aquarius, and he's aspecting the third house.
But not the ninth house.
No, sir, no ninth, I guess.
So Mars is not aspecting the Sagittarius or the ninth house. That is why the rift is very small. If the Mars has
Oh,
in ninth house or the Sagittarius or being in Sagittarius or in the ninth house, the rift is big.
okay, sir. And also, one more thing is, as you said, they used to have a transport business, and her husband used to, I mean, the cousin or husband, whoever, he used to make a lot of accidents before marriage. But after marriage, he's fine. And she, the whole business was on his name, so on her name, uh, this native's name. And also now they have a business, and business is also on her name. So initially they gone through poverty, and as you said, they slowly, the income will increase slowly. The income got increased slowly over the years. And also one more thing is, you said that though they want to be in poverty, they want to live like a luxurious life.
Right.
That's true, because I remember the specific trade, because even they used to fix those what do you call those central ACs in the rental homes.
Okay.
Yeah, which is not so specific, right? We used to have window ACs or something like that, but they used to dig the holes and they used to put it the centralized ACs for the rented houses and all. Like even when they are having some income issues. Yes, after that, when they have money and when they established a business and all, they are okay, not so well. Debts are still there. Now they have the issue of the family, as you said, it's kind of family. And you said that they always repent for what they did wrong. She always worries about the son who is not yet settled. So always feel that she didn't realize like what is the right course that he should go in, and I should have done this, I should have done that. She always repents about that. So I don't know at that time. Yeah, he didn't get settled yet. So that's the thing. And also she has been diabetic since 20 years. I see both sixth and eighth lords here. Yeah, she's been diabetic 20 years on the medication, but survived normal, and also under control. And now
Thanks.
here is,
Thanks. There's a good point here which Madam has made. So any disease that constantly grows, right? It is like the blood pressure or the diabetes that keeps growing slowly. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Madam.
yeah, and then she's of late she's been going through like last 10 years she's been going through different. Always from the beginning she is printed as like someone who is having poor health. So, and later she actually born. One thing is she is actually born with polio, but you can't say that. You can't point out by looking at her. No, other than a bit limping, because Brahaspati, her Lagna Lad is in Sravana. So she has a limping leg. Other than that, not a typical polio kid or polio one, even while raising up or now. So that's really surprising, because she went through at that time some advanced treatment or something like that. So normal, just a bit limping. That too only near and dear ones who know that can make it out. And recently, after last 10 years, she's been going through different health issues, one after the other, and anemic, and they didn't realize why she is going through all the stuff. And later they did bone marrow and all everything biopsy, and then they realized that she is a persistent anemic, and they had blood transfusion. And later she has irritable bowel syndrome.
Okay.
I guess that's also an autoimmune. Yeah, and also some nerves and all. Yeah, she's been going through some autoimmune. And one more trait you said, because most of them are like matching. Harsh talk. She's known for her harsh talk. Maybe I think the Bhavat Bhava, because third, Lord, maybe we can consider like that.
Not only that, Sun and Moon in conjunction in the third house. That makes her Rahu. When we talk about planets, we will talk about that in detail.
No moon, sir. There is no moon. Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Saturn.
Okay, Sun and Saturn is not a good combination there. Okay, we'll talk about that because
Yeah,
just me
okay.
and okay, Sun can also be a little cruel, but Sun is okay in Rohini. However,
Yeah.
the Mars in the Mars in the Satabhisha is the second lord, and the dispositor Saturn again is back in Mrigashira, right? Saturn is in Mrigashira, am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Harsha comes from also from the Ardra and also Jeshta and also Chitra. These are all harsh. And
Yeah,
also
she has
Satabhisha.
Ketu in Ardra.
Also Satabhisha. So if there are more planets around it connecting to the second houses and so on. So we'll talk about those things in detail once the planets are covered.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, and pretty much, so most of them are matching. So can we give her some any remedy regarding going to temple also in this horoscope, sir? Like for her diseases, autoimmune, basically no peace of mind. That's the thing we get to know now. Till poverty, she is very united, very happy. Uh,
That's a
yeah, as
typical
long as
that's a typical trait of Rohini. Can't help much on it. For this reason that there is Saturn influence over it, and even though she wants to do some remedy, she'll not be able to do it, as far as I understood the horoscope.
yes, sir. She is like whatever kind of lady.
Yeah.
I am okay. And the sleep and patterns, everything, as you said, is okay. As she has a fixed thing, and she sleeps and she switches off the mobile. No one, even anyone dies, she doesn't care. So that's the trait. So okay, whatever is there, we'll see it tomorrow. I'm done for today. Let's
Okay.
call it a day. So that's the trait, one thing that matches. And yeah, very artistic. So that's also is that she used to be really, but that didn't see any sunshine. She used to write small stories and yeah, very creative drawing. She was a biology student, so used to draw really good pics and all. So
Okay.
that's thing. Yeah. So yeah, most of them are matching, I guess.
Okay. I'll
Thank you,
go
sir.
to the next question. Okay. I'm asking you to unmute.
Sir, just a general question, but related to Rohini. So you mentioned moon is exalted in Kritika, right? But I was just thinking, like, how about its position in Rohini? Like, naturally, Rohini being a moon-ruled nakshatra, shouldn't moon feel more comfortable in Rohini compared to a sun-ruled
We
one like
spoke
Kritika?
we spoke about this in Kritika. Please go back and read Kritika.
Okay.
Because Kritika has got more light. So and the moon is a planet which feels, because moon is manas, right? Moon is the mind, or moon is the manas. Actually, the right word for manas is not present in English. So when would you be happy? Let us suppose you live in a place. You're going back home, right? During the travel, you'll be very happy, very enthusiastic to go back to home. You'll reach home in the next 5 years, you'll be very happy. That's how it is. Even before reaching Rohini, Moon is very happy because next nakshatra is Rohini. I'm going to reach Rohini. So Moon is
Mm.
exalted there. Okay.
Okay. Makes sense.
I
Okay.
spoke
Thank you.
about spoke about this in length in the Kritika video. Go back and read.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Ustad,
So I have a question.
go ahead.
Do Mars need to trigger by its drishti the events
Espe-
which have to happen through Rohini?
Especially for the rift to happen, especially in case of women in horoscopes.
Okay. And one more thing, since there have been so much talk about temple, my father has also constructed a Durga temple. He has donated about 4 lakhs for the
Okay.
construction of it, and he is also general secretary. No, he is pradhan. Earlier, he was general secretary in the Samiti.
Okay.
So yes, he has been involved in construction of Durga temple also.
Okay. Good. That's a good karma actually to get rid of Rohini issues with Rohini.
Yes, yes.
Good. Actually, somebody left a comment. If you're okay to talk, I would be happy to actually talk. Somebody said, "Look, I also have autoimmune, this and that." I don't want to take out the name, the lady. Okay. Would you want to talk, madam? If you're willing, then you can open up your mic and talk. Or if you're not willing, you can stay muted.
Yeah, namaste, sir. Yeah, I don't have any planet in Rohini, but I have the same autoimmune UVI case, but there is nowhere that they can point a reason because the whole autoimmune panel came negative. But I just want to say this uveitis thing is kind of rising up after post-COVID. Just want to give a heads up. It's in rise
Okay.
now, and I would
What
like to
is
reach out.
just in case if I may ask you, what is your lagna?
My lagna is Virgo, sir, Kanya,
Okay. Uh,
and
what's the cusp
just
of
give me,
it?
pardon?
What is the
It's
cusp?
on Chitta. Chitta. Sir, I don't know really about the cusp. I don't have Jagannath Hora installed in my computer yet, but my lagna is on Chitta,
Okay.
Nakshatra, second pada.
Okay. Mhm. Okay. All right. I thought you had something in. Okay. Go ahead. Done.
Yeah,
Then.
yeah. Just in case if you get, I mean, if I can get any recommendation to visit a temple, just in case if there is something that's causing this kind of a
My problem.
new.
The problem with me is unless I look at the thing, I have to be doubly sure before saying something. So it is
Okay,
too
sir. I
difficult
will
for
reach
me.
out to you personally with my chat. Thank you.
Thanks. Anybody else has any comments? Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, even my sister, she's her ascendant is Scorpio, and she has Venus in her ascendant and retrograde Jupiter and the Moon in Rohini.
Okay.
So she's the eldest in the family. She was eldest, like she's my cousin. She's the eldest in the family and has rift with her parents. And but everything changed when she got married. Like she recently got married and uh, her character, everything changed a lot after her marriage. Like, is there any way that can be associated with the Rohini? Because retrograde Jupiter,
Yeah.
both are in Rohini.
Yeah. Retrograde Jupiter in the Rohini, the second lord and the fifth lord, because fifth house is what is important for Rohini. And fifth house getting connected to Rohini. So there is a big change in the character of the person. And moreover, it is the seventh house. So maybe what she was displaying all these days was different, and what she is displaying today is different, especially for the Jupiter being in retrograde. Okay, because seventh
Okay.
house shows what is she showing it to the public, right? What
Okay.
you are demonstrating to the public is the seventh house. So, and does she, is there any aspect on the ninth house for the Mars?
Mars is actually in Mars is in 10th house. I think Mars is in Pura Falguni.
Okay. Purva Falguni also. You go back and read the Purva Falguni Mars also will, as I said, right? So Leo Mars also will have problems. Sagittarius Mars or Leo Mars. I told during the video. You can go back and listen.
Okay. Also, there is retrograde Saturn, but retrograde Saturn is in Kritika. So
Okay,
in Taurus, there is retrograde Jupiter, retrograde Saturn, and
Go
Moon
and hear,
together.
go and hear Kritika also. Kritika is also retrograde planets are unwelcome there. Kritika does not like, because Kritika is the place where Moon exalts, right? Moon always moves forward. Moon does not
Okay.
retrograde. So planets are unwelcome there. Probably she's trying to show some different attitude to people. So that is, I don't need the details. Don't describe it here. It's a very private thing.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So anybody else? Any comments? Otherwise, we'll say goodbye to each other. So we'll have planets from the next week. Maybe we'll have about 30-40 minutes a class, and then we'll do ample number of examples. Okay, bring in charts uh, from your people. We'll not take the name uh, or any other details, just the date of birth, the time, the place, and the gender of the person, and 3 events in the life of them. Okay, you just need 3 events of them. Do not bring in kids' horoscopes. Please always bring at least who are 40 years old or 35 years old, and do not have any attachments, sensitivity, etc. Because if you have such feelings, too hard feelings for them, please don't bring into the classes. Okay, and we can do any number of horoscopes. I would believe if you don't do examples, it's too difficult actually for you to follow how the whole thing is working. From next week, we'll do half hour or 40 minutes of the class, followed by examples. Okay. So we'll start planets next week. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Good night. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.